made me do it.
Good, finally, Friday morning, 3 minutes past 10 o'clock. We're already up to 70
Hi, Leanne,
degrees,
how are ya?
And I still
I
don't
just
have
saw
Andy
Leanne.
McKinley's
Hi.
microphone turned on yet.
Why
However,
can't
they're here.
hi?
Yes, folks, with lips on loan from God, it's your hometown movie guys. And Tina, Craig, and Andy, I'll go ahead and turn the microphones on now. Okay.
What a stinker! Hi, Leanne. We'll start all over again. Hi, Leanne.
I've been called worse. Hey, it was fun to see you all last Saturday at the Sawmill Theater for the big fundraiser movie and watching The Longest Day.
And you were actually there.
I was there, and I have to come clean on
Send
something.
up the flags.
See, I need to come clean on something here because, first of all, that movie is 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And about an hour and a half into that, my wife and I both realized that we had certain aspects that were of our overall makeup that resembled a racehorse suddenly.
Yeah, you have to.
And I won't get real specific
You
on
have to
this.
plan ahead.
Yeah, and sadly we did not. So we and of course the road that we
We
were
saw you shimmying out of it.
the road that we were in had was cram packed with people. So we shimmied our way on out and decided we didn't want to be disruptive to come back in. So what we did is we went home and on Netflix or one of those things or Amazon Prime or something.
Don't
We
bite your tongue.
We rented the movie and watched the second half at home. So I did actually.
You're so modern.
I've been accused of
And
worse.
disloyal.
Yes.
And horrific.
And what's your point? But anyway, I wanted to see the rest of the movie. I just didn't want to go in and be that guy that comes in the middle of the movie. Oh, excuse me. Here, let me put my rear end right in front of your face.
You know they have an app for that?
They do?
No, for a movie, it'll tell you
Yeah.
what time, if you have to get up and leave the theater for a bit, it'll tell you when to do that.
Okay, so there's a boring section coming up here in 3 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that would have worked.
Oh my word.
And then you got to figure out, okay, how long is the boring section? Can I actually get to the bathroom and get back? And these are
That kind of reminds me of the famous TV movie critic Joe Bob Briggs, and he would rate movies according to how many explosions, and he would tell you.
explosions.
He would tell you. He said, "Okay, now 17 minutes and 13 seconds in, they drive a tanker truck loaded with dynamite into an oil refinery. Now this is an explosion that you don't want to miss. So don't get up and move and leave the theater before that happens."
Well, that could work. I really did enjoy that movie.
And he also makes comments on attractive women.
I've been known to do that. Of course, I was watching this movie with my wife, so I tend not to do
With
it.
an attractive woman.
Yes,
That's right,
I
absolutely.
found it very wise many years ago to not talk about other women whilst doing that. But anyway, aside from all that, I'd forgotten how much I liked that movie.
Great movie.
It's been years since the last time I've seen it, but I had seen it rather. Man, I highly recommend that. If you haven't seen The Longest Day, that's a John Wayne movie worth watching.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's so many big names in that movie.
I think of it as a Sal Mineo movie with,
I was gonna say.
with John Wayne in it.
No, there you go.
and we appreciate everyone coming out too. That was all.
Yeah.
Your admission fee all went to the local veterans here, so that was all good stuff. And,
Right.
Yeah.
they brought out the color guard and
Yeah, it was
a
they had
great event,
couple
really.
of old Jeeps out there that they brought in for
Right.
display. It was pretty. It was
Had
pretty
some
nice.
politicians there sharing their
Yes,
2 cents worth.
yes.
I thought it was a great time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Plus the popcorn and the soft drinks were wonderful.
We're already planning out our next venture there. We're thinking Pearl Harbor. The summer seminar.
Now, which
Midway.
which
The
Pearl?
good one.
Oh, the good one.
Yeah. The
You know, I like the new one, but Charles.
Oh, gag me with a forklift.
man, you got something on the
I hated it.
microphone there.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, I hated that one. Ben Affleck?
Is that a hairball?
No, not
is
Ben
that-
Affleck.
what?
The last one with
Last one.
it was one of the Jonah brothers was in it, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It just came out like
No.
2 years ago. It was actually.
Oh, well, maybe that's one we haven't seen.
We haven't seen it. I saw
I really like
I
it.
saw the one in the middle, which absolutely just was execrable. See, I got to use my words.
I think it was Roland Emmerich. Did this last one. So yeah, the special effects and everything
Do
were
the
there, so
first
they were able to
one.
really
Do the
get
first one.
No, we're gonna do the first one. Oh, we will do the first
Okay.
one. I like the last one.
It's a classic.
Well, when you think back to a movie from The Longest Day was 1963, I believe.
I think 62.
Oh, call me a liar for a
I'm
year
not
ago.
sure though.
But nonetheless, there's some of those movies when you look back at them, it's like, wow, technology has really changed, and I get distracted by some things. Why they could have done this better, they should have done that. But that movie from 1962, 63, whatever year it was, they did an astounding job on that. And again, the talent involved there was really amazing.
Yeah.
So now,
Bob Mitchum was in that.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
And Robert Ryan.
Robert Ryan, too.
Yes, our precious bodily fluids from Dr. Strangelove. Okay.
Trying to think where we're going to go with this next. I don't know. But at any rate, I'm completely distracted now. What were we talking? Oh, that's right. We're talking about movies.
Gotcha.
All right, you did quite well, I might
Yes, I
add.
did.
Now,
We have a musical this week.
Yes,
musical?
yes.
And
He said, handing the host a lifeline.
thank you very much, by the way. We'll just turn Tina's microphone off here. Yeah. Oh goodness.
That's not it.
Yeah. Well, so now what's a musical this week?
It's called In the Heights.
In the Heights.
Yeah, this is actually a Broadway play that's
Right.
been turned into a movie.
Wow.
It was
This is a brand new release?
yes,
Oh.
just coming out today. I did Hamilton.
Oh,
Same guy
okay.
that put that one out.
I purposely didn't see that movie, but I know that there was some talent in there.
Well, this is like you said, this is a straight up musical, which Mason loves musicals.
Gotta love it.
Good.
So that starts today at what times?
1:15, 4:15, and 7:15. Cool.
Now is that the single new movie this week?
That's the only one we got this Friday. Now next Wednesday, then we have a release. So normally the theater we've been closed Tuesday, Wednesday.
Mhm.
Next Wednesday we will be open, and that's gonna be for the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
That sounds like a good one.
Whoa, dude.
Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Who's
This
in
is
that?
Ryan Reynolds, Samuel Jackson,
Selma Hayek.
Selma Hayek. There we go.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Selma.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a sequel to the Hitman's Bodyguard. This is the
Okay.
Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Well, that's it.
It was a tremendous success.
Yeah, this is a comedy, which
That's good. That's real handy.
I'm laughing now, right? Yeah.
well, we haven't seen a lot of comedies coming down
Oh, good.
down the line here
We
for a
need
while.
more comedies.
And it's so in this day and age where all this woke stuff and everything else is going on, that it's got to be more and more of a challenge for comedians to feel good about being funny. I mean, it's more difficult for them to be culturally acceptably funny. Perhaps personally,
You can't make fun of anybody except us, of course, white conservatives. I mean, we're the butt of but there's no humor. There is no joy in Mudville.
well, and like
Really.
I miss like a good Blazing Saddles movie. I mean,
I miss Don Rickles.
yeah, there you go.
Right.
But I mean, just some unbelievably outrageously
Or the
ridiculous
producers.
humor.
The producers.
Oh, there you go.
I even sang a little snippet from there.
Yeah, we won't hold it against you though.
Okay.
But at any rate, it's I don't know. I'm hungry for a good comedy. So
The world
It
needs
is.
more fart jokes.
yeah, there you go.
Actually, I think those are still okay.
Is that right?
I think. I don't know. It's hard to. It is.
Depends on the size of the room.
Comedy.
So there's one now.
We're in this tiny
Yeah,
little
we're-
studio right now.
Comedy is, I guess, a little more challenging right now.
Right, yeah.
You certainly have to be careful.
Comedy is hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
timing and of course, again, I think with everybody getting so offended by everything these days, I don't know. I personally have just stopped caring, and I'll just continue to go down whatever ridiculous humorous road I want.
It's like Alice Roosevelt, who was, I think, Teddy's daughter. She said, if you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, come sit next to me.
Yeah, well,
I'm all
she
over
sounds,
it.
she sounds like a fun lady.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a comedy that's coming in middle of next week.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yes,
Yes.
and Wednesday. And what time is that going to be playing on Wednesday? Do you know yet?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
It'll be playing multiple times every day.
Everything's pretty much between 1 and 1:30, then 4
Right.
and 4:30, and 7 and 7:30. So
Cool.
yeah.
All right. And so what else are we keeping this week?
But we still got The Conjuring.
How's that been going?
It's actually done really well.
Right.
It's done really well. Yeah, this is a straight up horror film,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a little more along the lines of The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Some really kind of creepy,
Dark stuff, huh?
Yeah, creepy, weird. People freaking out, and
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, pacing is weird that way. Where horror films don't normally do well up here, but if they're kind of over the top, then they do well.
That's interesting.
So if it's just kind of a middle of the road horror film.
I gotta go look at my sociology
Yeah, I know
textbook
what
to
that-
figure that one out. But
Well, people like I said, well, not everyone, but there's certainly a market out there to be shocked.
There's absolutely a market for the Conjuring series. They're right up against $2 billion for the franchise.
wow, yeah, that's,
So,
something's
so
working.
as Craig says, some people like this stuff.
Right.
Well, they're based on true stories, and at the end of this one, they play some audio tape of some really creepy sounding stuff, of actual exorcisms, and it's it's like wow.
Don't get me talking about
And
that.
they make a point in the I've seen the trailers. I haven't seen the movie, but I have seen the trailers, and they make a point in the movie where they're in a classroom or a courtroom. They're defending I suppose a murderer, and the defense attorney says, "Your Honor, every time we swear somebody in, we acknowledge the existence of God. Isn't it time that the court acknowledge the existence of Satan?"
Ouch.
And the tagline is "The devil made me do it." So I don't know what.
Yeah, that's some spooky stuff to be playing with. There's a
Yeah,
real
Oh, yeah.
dark element to all that.
I don't even like fiddling with Ouija boards or any of that.
Oh,
And, I
no.
mean, I don't like going anywhere near any of that stuff. It's just too dangerous.
Yeah.
Ouija boards are.
Got some stories to tell you. We'll do it off the
Yeah.
air. But and now, speaking of spooky movies, what about A Quiet Place too?
Yeah.
Quiet Place is so good.
How's that been
Actually, I
going?
got to watch that one myself last week.
Right.
Really good, really good. Yeah.
I know the trailer for it looked like it would be wonderful.
Well made. Not so much a different type of horror.
Right.
I don't know if you really call it a horror film. More, psychological
Suspense, maybe.
suspense
With
thriller.
monsters.
Yeah, there are definitely monsters in there. They're pretty vicious, but
Right.
yeah, a lot of it's just the psychological end of that.
But you have
Right.
Emily Blunt, whom I love and adore. She is so talented.
Amazing
Yeah,
actress,
yeah,
really is.
right.
It was good too. And actually, it was the first time I've really been back in the theater. Actually to just sit down and watch a movie.
Right.
And it's. I think people are missing out on some of that. There is that that going into a theater and sitting down and watching with other people and kind of interacting with them.
Yeah.
With the audience. Their reaction and stuff, and talking to people at the end of the movie. Like, oh, wow, that was good, or
One of the movies that I thought was in recent years, fairly recent anyway, where I found that to be really fascinating, and where everybody was talking to each other after the movie, was Avatar. It just seemed like that was such a different twist that I think everybody was just kind of blown away by that. And you mentioned that there's a sequel to that coming out sometime this next year.
Bunch of them.
You know what? Not this year. They're going to 2022 on that,
Mhm.
and that's all. Disney bought Fox, so now Disney controls Avatar.
Oh.
But what they're going to do is, in 2022, you're going to get an Avatar movie. In 2023, you're going to get a Star Wars movie. In 2024, you're going to get another Avatar film. In 25 Star Wars, 26 Avatar, 27 Star Wars, 28 Avatar.
Wow.
So they're going to every other year they're going to alternate between an Avatar or a Star Wars film.
Jeez.
Yeah, they've got that lined
Point
up.
of not dying.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and steer clear of that if I can help it, yeah.
But they've got that lined up for the next 10 years
Wow.
of going back and forth. So we're going to see quite a few of these.
That's interesting.
Hi, Nicole.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Nicole.
Nicole.
So what movie, now, did either of our other movie guys see any other movies aside from,
Well, let's not rush back away from The Quiet Place too so quickly.
wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Okay.
It not only is a good movie and very suspenseful and very high quality in terms of the skill with which it is made, but it's been very successful as well.
Good.
Really?
60 million to make it, 175 in the box office so
Yay.
far.
And how long has it been out?
And still
What, like a week
clicking
or 2
away.
weeks?
This is the start of its third week.
Starting its third week,
Well,
so
that's
they got a ways to go yet. And I always get his name right wrong.
John Krasinski.
Krasinski.
Right.
Krasinski is Emily Blunt's husband.
Right.
He also has a role in the movie briefly.
Well, he was prominent in the first one.
He was prominent in the first
Right.
one. But he directed, starred in, produced, wrote this movie. And it has changed him from being, oh yeah, that's that guy that was on The Office on TV, right? To one of the true luminaries in Hollywood.
He's a player.
He's
a
got,
player.
now he has.
He has
He has
creds.
heft.
Right, heft.
Oh, heft.
Yes.
Yeah, this one-
Gravitas.
Yeah, A Quiet Place 2 and then Cruella both came out on Memorial Day weekend. And,
Right.
and those two films really kind of kick-started the whole theater industry up again.
Getting back to
it brought
whatever
people
normal
back.
is.
Yeah, it brought people back.
Excellent.
We're still not, where we were in 2019, but
Has Cruella been doing well here?
it's done really well. Yes, that's another one that's done really good for us.
Arizona's own Emma
Stone.
Stone.
Oh, Emma Stone.
Upon whom he has an irreconcilable crush.
Yeah, I used to like her before she got all old and hagged out.
What is she, like 22 now?
Yeah. Those of you watching us on Facebook Live will suddenly understand the humor
The
there.
fickle finger of fate here, really.
By the way, you can catch us on Facebook Live if you so choose, and you can see how young and trim we are. Now, so what about, what other movies have you all seen?
Well,
this last
no,
week?
we're not done yet.
But answer my
No.
question anyway.
Oh, yeah, let's see, I've seen A Quiet Place, Cruella,
Oh, wow.
and that's all.
Well, you were even talking out here in the lobby before going on the air today about A
Well,
Quiet Place.
I've seen Spider-Man Homecoming, which we have not mentioned yet, but we will.
It's our kids' classic.
Oh, okay. All right. So where'd that come from?
That's another film. But, yeah.
But you were mentioning, even before going on the air today, out in the lobby here to some folks, that A Quiet Place did.
Part two.
Apparently, you really like the way it was crafted. Again, it's
No, it's very good filmmaking, very expert, wonderfully made film.
not one of these where I know what's coming up next.
No.
I can tell by the music someone's going to say boo any minute.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not often that the sequel is better than the original. But
Wow.
I think this is one of those times.
Oh, very interesting.
I'm still waiting for Piranha Double D.
Oh no.
Jeez, well, party on.
So many ways we could go there.
Oh, yeah.
As if the original could be surpassed.
Yeah, we can always.
It was riveting.
Yeah, that's the word for it.
I just say bite me.
Yeah. This is going downhill.
Okay.
So now, what when it comes to Cruella, you said you saw that. Was that, in your opinion, was it a good movie?
Yes, I liked it very much. I was very surprised. It was not what I expected it to be. I expected
Why?
it to be, well, it's a Disney flick. I expected it to be
Cutesy kid stuff?
more or less a remake of 101 Dalmatians, which is where Cruella DeVille made her
Right.
film debut. But it's not. It's nothing like that at all. And it's again, it's a very serious, dramatic, dark kind of a movie.
Yeah.
And it's not a kid's flick.
Wow,
I read online.
I didn't see that coming.
I read online yesterday somebody just castigating it because it is full of dark images and.
Yeah, I read that as well, and I was gonna send it to you, but I'm in Facebook jail,
It
so.
is
Oh,
PG.
how did that happen?
Oh, come on.
It is PG-13. It's not a
Well,
PG film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's not.
Yeah, well, for instance, Spirit Untamed is PG.
Yes, that's another film we have.
Yeah, starting today.
Yeah.
That just starts today for the first time. No.
Good.
Oh,
Started last week. Yeah.
Oh.
And how's that been doing?
Good.
And
Good.
give it-
It's a PG. It's for the younger kids.
Right. And again, it's called
Spirit Untamed.
Spirit Untamed. Cool.
Yeah, about a girl on a horse. Animated film.
That's
There you
it.
go.
That's the story.
What's it?
I like
Horsey,
it.
horsey thing?
Yeah, everybody loves that.
It's all good. So, what movies have you seen, Tina?
Oh, man, I've been watching movies at home. I just saw the, I know, I just saw The Green Zone with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
That is an interesting movie.
Uh-huh.
Really interesting movie, yeah. And based on a true story,
Mhm.
so,
That's all just really spooky stuff.
Yeah.
In the world.
yeah.
So now, as far as other big blockbusters coming down the road, do you have anything else? Summertime is usually when all this stuff's hitting, right?
Well, we got the big one. Actually, I think the big one for the summer, June 25th 5th is Fast and Furious.
Oh, that's just around the corner.
That'll be, yeah, that's just a couple weeks.
I'll be there.
You know, and we were just talking last week about Fast and Furious briefly here, and about, you know, some of the, or maybe it was the week before, but, you know, just how that franchise has done so well, and it's all just, you know, ridiculous things that, you know, just really would never happen in the real world, but for some reason, you know, you find it kind of riveting to watch. And there I was, sitting on my couch, and came across, I think it's the latest Fast and Furious to actually hit the TV. And well, he sat and watched that, and there was a lot of weird things going on in there that, you know, made absolutely no sense, but I was thoroughly entertained watching it.
They're somehow entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. I tell everyone I hate myself for liking them, but they're fun to
Guilty
watch.
pleasures.
Yeah, they're fun to watch.
It's like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
It's a
there you go.
That'll be the big one, I think.
Yeah, good.
Right now, one of the things that we want to talk about today too is, in our topic du jour today, is
Spider-Man on tape, or Spider-Man Homecoming.
is that what we want to talk about?
Yeah. When's that coming?
Mr. Segway.
Today.
So that is a movie that begins at the Sawmill Theaters today, Friday.
Part of our kids' classic.
Wait,
$5
you didn't know
ticket.
this?
$5. $5.
$5.
And what time is that playing?
12:30, 3:30, and 6:30.
And is that today only?
No, that'll be. We're doing one of these a week.
Oh, okay, so it lasts the whole week.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, we're doing this, and then I believe next Friday we're going to Spider-Man: Far From Home, the sequel to this one.
Cool. That sounds like fun.
Yep.
Well, one of the-
And this was a very popular movie.
Mhm.
I don't expect that you saw it, but $880 million at the box office.
Wow, that's some ROI there.
So,
Now, is that
people like Spider-Man.
now? Some of these are animated and some are not. Is this an animated movie?
This is live action.
This is live action.
Live action.
This one,
Live action.
Michael Keaton as the Vulture.
Oh wow.
Who plays Spidey?
Is Garfield?
How many years old is this particular movie?
2017.
Oh, it's not that old.
Not that old.
I was gonna say, I haven't seen Keaton in anything in a while.
Yeah, well, you know, he's done a few here. He was in the Birdman,
Right,
the unexpected virtue of ignorance.
right.
That's, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, then he's the Vulture on this one, and
He's around.
yeah, he's around.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I guess he kind of dropped out there for a while, but he's kind of made a resurgence.
And he's unusual, I think, in Hollywood. He's a very successful actor, and he's not, at least he doesn't seem to be enthralled by the Hollywood experience. Because like Craig says, you know, he'll make a movie and then maybe he won't make a movie for a while.
Mhm.
And most people in Hollywood, you know, if they're not working in every minute, they think something's wrong.
Right.
But he
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, except for
Yeah,
Samuel
he's-
Jackson.
I know.
He's
He's
by
in
the way,
every
he's in the Hitman's wife's bodyguard.
Oh, awesome.
Isn't he in just about every movie?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
pretty
think
much,
so, yeah.
Um,
No, but Michael Keaton, you're right about that. He picks and he chooses, and he's kind of, you know, he kind of seems to enjoy his career on his terms.
Yeah, on his own terms. Yeah,
Right.
he did. This is just astonishing to me. He played Batman at one point,
Right.
and it was a very well received
Yes,
Batman. And of
yeah.
course, these are huge movies, and they probably paid him $20 million.
Mhm.
And he said, "Yeah, well, you know, that's fine. I'm not going to do that anymore. I did my Batman thing." So
Mhm.
somebody achievement at Christmas.
Mhm.
I would not turn down $20 million. I played Batman 53 times if they'd let me.
And Michael Keaton was coming off of Multiplicity when
Right,
he did that Batman. You know,
right.
that comedy with Andy McDowell
Yeah.
where he cloned himself. You know,
Yeah.
It was just
That was
hilarious.
good.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, now
And,
that's
you
a
know,
comedy that was
and-
funny, and it was really great.
Well,
And
then,
he took that and went
Well,
to
he does-
Batman.
he does
So
have
he's got
quite a range,
He does,
doesn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got
Well, what
range
was
for
the one
sure.
movie where he's a dead spirit?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
What the heck was the name of that?
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Yes.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice,
yes.
yeah.
How could I have forgotten that name, man? But I thought he did an epic job of just being completely off the wall on that
well,
one.
let's just say he kind of started out in comedy and then he's taken it to a different level and done some of his more serious stuff, and then he's done it well.
And he's been
Yeah, there's nothing more serious than Birdman.
Oh, you know what else he did? The McDonald's thing. He played the founder of McDonald. Was it Founder?
Yeah,
Was it
yeah,
called
Founder, I think.
Founder, yeah.
Yeah.
The story of how McDonald's started out and became this,
You know, it's a kind of very serious biopic.
yeah.
I bet that's a pretty meaty movie.
I didn't get to see it. It was supposed to be
Cheesy.
really good.
You can get fried if you watch it too long.
Oh.
But now it's time to turn over to something else. And
But
please.
now for something completely different.
Now, our topic du jour today is really lousy movies. And if you were going to pick the lousiest movie that you've ever sat through,
Oh, man.
Tina, what comes to mind?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, I'm going to have to delve into the old synapses that haven't fired for a while. But just recently, there's a really horrible, I think it's a series or a movie. I mean, we couldn't get through the first 10 minutes of it. Without Remorse. It's on either Netflix or Prime, I can't remember, but it was awful.
The name of it is Without Remorse.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll tell you, they should have felt remorse for
Oh,
me.
I saw that.
Oh, man, it sucked. It was terrible.
Don't candy coat it for us, Tina.
Oh,
Tell
it
us
was
what
just,
you really
I was like, seriously? I mean, can't you do better than that? I think it was, some sort of Tom Clancy clone-ish.
Right.
Anyway, no, terrible. Really terrible.
And what about you, Craig? When you think of like the worst movie you've ever seen,
I
what
think
comes
the worst thing is when you see a movie that you really like,
Right.
and they do a sequel,
Oh, there you go.
and
Yeah.
it's just
Didn't
unwatchable.
live up to
it.
Yeah, that crushes even more, and that would have been Lake Placid.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
The original one with Betty White and
Yeah.
Oliver Platt, and
Yeah.
just a great film that I loved. And the second one was so bad,
Really?
so bad.
And what about the third one?
There was a third one?
I learned my lesson.
Yeah, I know.
And Andy, with as the author of the book that everyone's familiar with, A Gross of Zombies, is there any chance that the worst movie you've ever seen was not a zombie movie?
There are a lot of bad movies. We make, in the United States alone, we make about 3,000 feature-length films a year, and most of them, of course, are just dreadful. But the worst zombie film let's say the most disgusting zombie film is Poultrygeist.
Poultrygeist.
Oh, that's right.
It's
yeah,
about,
Poltergeist.
well, it's a musical, first of all, and it's about,
Musical zombie chickens?
yes,
Right.
lesbian zombie
Oh,
chickens.
goodness.
And
What is someone drinking when they come up with that idea? I mean,
Well,
Drinking,
I think you're
that's like,
well, or smoking, or what? I mean,
Yeah,
you should
yeah.
pass out before those kind of
They're
thoughts
taking
are happening.
LBJ,
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, man.
And it's, everything about it is bad. I mean, of course, the story is bad. It's kind of disgusting. There's a zombie lesbian orgy scene that has to be seen to be believed.
And these are chickens.
Zombie chicken lesbian.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could
But the production values are very low. It's like they spent, I don't know, 50, 60, 100,000 maybe to make the whole movie.
Right.
It is really, really bad. But there are lots of bad
There are
movies.
lots of that, and you know what?
And compared to that movie, the one Tina's talking about.
Oh, yeah, it's true, it's probably pretty good, right? But there's a celebration of bad movies. It's a show called Mystery Science 3000.
Right. Oh, yes. I've
Oh
seen
my
that.
gosh, they had the old version and then Netflix brought back the new version. It is absolutely hysterical. And they really do find these movies, and heaven only knows. But I saw one that actually had Rock Hudson in it.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, it was just, but then they make fun of it, they snark on it.
You got the little head
The
figures at the bottom of the
and
screen.
the guy,
That's
the one human guy and the little robots. Oh my word, that's really worth watching because they're so bad they're good in terms of what they do with it. So.
All right, now we got to take a little bit of a break here. If you're following us along on
we need a full hour.
tough cookies, if you're following us along on Facebook Live, we're going to continue for another 30 minutes talking about this. But right now on KRIM, we're going to get you back to more of your favorite music. We've got some tunes coming up from Hall & Oates, Cyndi Lauper, Cat Stevens, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and a whole bunch more. But right now, quick look at Rim Country weather.
All right, guys.
You have to go?
I have to go.
Oh, sure.
Come on.
You just don't love us anymore.
I got the duty.
The dirty duty.
Duty. You gonna clean up everybody's popcorn?
Yes, pretty much.
Well,
All right. See ya.
sorry you can't stick around, Craig.
No.
We'll do an hour next week.
Yeah.
Or not. Hey, but at any rate,
Bye. See ya.
we're going to continue talking about worst movies of all time. And one of the things that comes to my mind when we talk about this is at another unnamed radio station where I used to work, there was a gal that worked there for a short period of time, not nearly short enough in my opinion, but a short period of
I
time,
think I know who.
who had been involved in two different, what some people refer to as movies, that based on
Shoot, I saw both those. I didn't think they were that bad.
I could shoot a better movie with my cell phone, and without a script.
Well, that's probably true, but they weren't that bad.
It was one of these things where I told her I was going to watch this, and when I go back to work tomorrow, she's going to ask what I thought, and I'm going to have to say something intelligent other than I fell asleep. But at any rate,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's been a few.
Oh, was not Gone with the Wind. I'll give you that.
No, it was
They weren't
definitely
that bad. For instance, they weren't nearly as bad as Glenn or Glenda.
Oh,
I
my
changed
gosh.
my sex.
Oh my gosh.
That's a movie.
Yeah, 1953.
Yeah.
Ooh, you would think that would have gone over like
Ah.
not well.
It was sort of an underworld picture.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know why, but I saw that.
Yeah,
I mean, I did
I've seen it too.
Yeah.
By the way, good morning to Jerry, Stephen, Nancy, Kurt, Francine. Thanks for watching along on Facebook Live. Let us know what the worst movie you've ever seen. Just text it in there, and we'll talk about that too. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You were about to say.
Okay. Anyway, was written and directed by Ed Wood.
Oh my gosh.
The
master of bad movies.
the master.
He was the emperor of bad movies. Yeah.
He never made a good movie, but he kept trying, didn't he?
He did. He was a stalwart failure.
Well, how?
I like that.
Where does the funding come from to continue down a bad road?
Well, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
He made Plan 9 from Outer Space,
Right.
which for decades was held up as the worst movie
The
ever
all-time,
made.
yeah.
In one scene, you can see the strings on the flying saucers.
I know.
I mean, that's how poorly made it was.
It was so
Bella-
campy. Campy as hell.
Bela Lugosi was Bela Lugosi's last movie,
Right.
and he died during the filming of the movie.
I think the movie
Killer
killed
movie.
him.
His stand-in after Bela Lugosi died, the movie continued to be made, and the guy who played Bela Lugosi's role was never filmed from the front. They filmed him from the back with a like a monk's cowl on,
Right.
and that was Ed Wood's dentist, who was one. Yeah, you asked me where the money comes from. Well, Ed Wood.
You want to be in a movie?
He always wanted to be in pictures, right?
Yeah. So Ed Wood got some of his money from his dentist.
It's not like pulling teeth. You know?
Jeez, man. I
Yeah.
tell you.
Well,
And oddly, I guess Ed Wood and Bela Lugosi were buddies because Bela Lugosi was also in Glenn or Glenda.
Yeah.
And apparently, Ed Wood liked to dress up in
Angora
sweaters. That's right.
And
Yeah.
wasn't
And he wasn't gay or anything. He just liked Angora.
Wasn't Johnny Depp? Didn't he play Ed Wood, or was it Johnny Depp? Somebody played him in a movie.
Ed Wood.
Yes, right. But who starred in that? I don't know.
I don't know, but
Yeah, but I mean that was that in itself. I mean it was sort of ghastly fascinating to watch it. I was like, ooh.
but not
yeah.
but not well made.
Oh gosh, no.
No.
But deliberately, I think
Well, but-
to.
Oh no, he was not deliberate.
Who?
Ed Wood.
Oh no. Ed Wood just was awful. But the movie about him
Was
Ed
good.
Wood,
That was a good movie.
Was a good movie, but it was kind of had
Leonard-
that campy.
Yeah, but Leonard Nimoy.
Nimoy was in there.
Yeah, he played Bela Lugosi.
Right.
And Long and Prosper.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
I missed that one somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you-
And unfortunately, at the end of his life, Bela Lugosi, and I think during all of his association with Ed Wood, was a morphine addict.
Yes.
So that kind of detracted from his ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever's right. I don't know.
place where you can get archived film footage that's in the public domain. And there'll be, in the movie, you know, you'd be going along, there'd be a story of sorts, and there'd be something going on, and then all of a sudden, there would be 45 seconds of a buffalo stampede.
Yeah, like a chunk of public domain, like out of context stuff.
Totally out of
So
Right.
context.
complete
for-
whiplash material.
Yeah,
Right,
just for
right.
filler,
Right.
just so we could
Just to
get his
longer.
hour and 5 minutes or
Right,
whatever it was.
Right,
Wow.
yeah, I know.
Small wonder that
You
didn't work
can't
out well.
really beat Ed Wood for bad movies.
Yeah, well.
I mean, he is the emperor.
You can only suck so bad.
Yeah, oh man, and I mean consistently.
Wow.
He just loved making movies, and they
Was no good at
He
it.
was awful. Yeah, really. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. When it comes to lousy movies, I can't. There's not a whole lot that really popped to my mind. I mean, I don't. I typically have tried to only go see good movies. I haven't watched movies just for the sake of watching a movie, obviously.
Yeah, but you know, for example, there's one that I haven't seen that I don't think I could stand sitting through. It's this new movie with Anne Boleyn being played by a black chick.
Oh yeah, let's rewrite history. Yeah.
You know, and there's a lesbian scene in there, apparently. I read these snippets about it. I'm just, it's like, and the people who are doing this without a sense of humor. I mean, this could be like Ed Woodish if they made it, but it's not. You know, it's all real serious because it's all real PC. You know, yeah.
And how do they keep getting funded? I don't
Well, you know, Hollywood
Hollywood.
loves that stuff. You
Yeah,
know,
well,
they're all like, you know.
Someone needs to.
And you can make a movie, a Hollywood level movie. You can make for a couple of $1 million.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So you know, and Hollywood is awash with money.
Oh man, they are.
So
Yeah.
you know and that's how some of these weirdies get made. There was a movie a couple of years ago, Mary Queen of Scots, where
Oh, yeah.
an actress that speaking of me having crushes on,
Margot Robbie. Is that?
no, that was in
Oh.
the helper, the stand-in,
Oh,
something
okay,
like that.
yeah.
I forget, but anyway, that actually came out the same year.
Right.
But with Jenna Chan.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, you've got the court of Mary Queen of Scots.
In
And then-
England.
In England, yeah,
Right.
in you know
Or
the
Scots,
1500s.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got one of her courtiers, one of her ladies in waitings,
Right.
is a Chinese gal.
It's like, what the fluff?
And
Really?
and
Yeah.
the director was interviewed, and they asked, well, why in the world did you do that? And said, well, I think it's more important that we have people of color
Diversity.
in movies
Right.
than it is that we have historical accuracy. And I found that an interesting point of view.
Yeah, I think-
Oddly enough,
I think it's a
the-
demented.
I think it's a
point of view. Right.
pointless point of view.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the movie did not make a nickel.
What a shock.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, a good bad movie that I just recently saw. This is another movie that I saw. I believe it was on Netflix. It's called The Death of Stalin.
Oh, now that Craig's here, we can talk about Netflix, huh? I see how this is
Yeah,
going.
yeah. No, I'm telling you, it's a good bad movie. It's got Steve Buscemi.
I like him.
Oh man, he plays Khrushchev, and it
Wow.
is really an interesting. I had read about this, and I watched it. It's very campy, and my husband lost interest immediately, but I persevered and I watched the whole thing, and I loved it. I think I may watch it again. So it's
Did you see Ghost World with Steve Buscemi?
Maybe. That's a definite maybe. I'm not sure I did.
Scarlett Johansson
Oh yeah.
as a teenager.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love Steve Buscemi. He's got the
Well,
teeth.
that
He's
was
got that, you know, and he's been told apparently that he needs to get his teeth fixed or he's going to lose them because the bite is so bad. But he's got, and remember, he was in one of my all-time favorites, Fargo. Right, yeah.
Was he in Fargo?
Was he in Fargo?
I don't remember.
I
It was
think he
in-
was, yeah. What do you, I think
First
he
time
was.
I ever saw him,
Yeah.
or recognized him anyway, paid attention to him, was in Armageddon.
Mhm.
Armageddon.
Armageddon,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, he's brilliant. Yeah, but him playing Khrushchev.
With Liv
and he played,
Tyler.
Oh, Liv Tyler, the gorgeous Liv Tyler.
Yeah, before she got all
I know, right.
hagged out.
Like us, right?
Sad but true.
Oh, yeah. No, and the death of Stalin is very campy. So some people would probably not like it because it takes the history, and it's very accurate history. They have all the different people who were in this, the Stalin Secret Service, secret police, and it's really interesting, but odd, super odd, and maybe some people would hate it and think it was the worst movie ever made. I rather liked it.
So when you say campy, you mean like snarky or?
Yes.
Yes, very
Okay.
snarky, but they keep coming back to real history with these real people who were alive. And the guy who plays Stalin is kind of like this little gnomish guy. He does have a Stalin face, but
He has a big mustache.
yeah, he's a big mustache, but he's kind of, comical. And then they have Svetlana Alelulieva.
Ooh.
I
Easy
know
for
it,
you to
I know.
say.
Hey, she was his daughter who defected, and she appears in that. And then one of my favorite actors who was in Homeland, the series, excellent, amazing series Homeland, Rupert Friend. He's as well in that. Yeah, very good movie. Good dad movie.
A lot of people don't realize that Stalin wasn't Russian.
I didn't know that.
Right.
He was
right.
Georgian.
He was Georgian,
Oh.
right?
And
From
he's-
Atlanta or?
No, no. The other Georgia, named after St. Georgia. Georgia was one of the.
And Stalin wasn't his correct name. It
No,
was
it
he
wasn't.
adopted that. It means steel.
Steel.
Man of steel. So
Oh.
he, Uncle Joe.
Yeah, Georgia was. They claim anyway that they were the first nation, first Christian nation.
Mhm.
So they've been Christian since the early centuries of the current era.
Right.
And Stalin is still very well regarded in Georgia,
Yeah.
and not because he was such a great dictator, but because he killed so many Russians.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I
That
mean,
says
he
something.
woke up in the morning and went, okay, who gets to buy it today?
Yeah, he would send Beria was his
Yes, Beria, right.
was his henchman, his
Right.
head of the
Who appears in the movie? I mean, they
Yeah.
have him. Yeah.
the NKVD.
Yes.
In those
yes.
days, successor to the illustrious Cheka
Yep.
of Lenin's era.
Yeah.
But he would demand quotas.
Yeah.
Said, okay, from this city,
Yeah.
I need 13,000 deaths.
Right.
Wow.
And they would go round up people and go shoot them.
His saying that really is ghastly accurate is, one death is a tragedy, a million deaths is a statistic. And that was his attitude. Right.
Special
And
place
what's
in
it-
hell for folks like that.
Oh,
What's the name of this movie?
The death of Stalin.
The Death of
It's
Stalin.
really, I mean, I loved it. As I said, I'm going to watch it maybe one or two times more so I can start.
How long
honing
ago
in.
did they come out with this?
Oh, it's recent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Current.
Current.
Oh, it's current.
Yeah.
Current.
I mean, in the theaters type current?
No,
Well, they,
streaming.
streaming, but I mean, maybe in the theaters.
We can
it's,
only say the word streaming when Craig isn't here.
I know, because, and I don't blame him. I mean, I feel disloyal even talking about it. But
Well, and it was so cool last Saturday to go to the theater and sit in
Yes.
there and watch a movie again.
It
I
was
enjoyed that.
great.
And
Yeah.
it's neat to hear that
Did you recognize Fabian?
barely,
Yeah.
only in the, actually, when I watched the second half on TV, sadly, there's if you pause the movie, at the bottom, a little thing comes
like
up
the little X-ray.
with
and they show
who
and who, right.
in that current scene,
Right.
who they are.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, that's on Prime. Prime does
Right,
that,
that-
and I love that. I'll stop sometimes and then go and read their biography.
Right.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
neato.
That's very cool.
It helped
Yeah.
because there was some faces like, who the heck is that?
Yeah.
And
I
Fabian, that was, that goes back a ways. I mean, again, the movie was made in '62. I was
Yeah.
3 at the time, so I don't really. A lot of
Now I
those.
feel old.
I know. Andy and I
I
are
shared that story intentionally.
Andy's a little older than I am.
we saw it in the theater.
Yes, yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
Fun and games. But anyway, it was neat to be back in there. But it's also great to hear that we finally have some big name movies coming back out again. It's been this last year. It's been tough, for Craig and everyone at the Sawmill Theater, but I mean the theater industry in general. But it's been difficult in here just to hear him talk about how we're hoping that we can do this soon, and having to cut back hours and all that. It's just been a tragic year for the theater business in general, and certainly the Sawmill Theater here locally, no exception to that. So
I just figured out why you didn't like the Jack Ryan, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, or whatever that was that you saw on Netflix the other day.
Well, I like the other Jack Ryan.
No.
You mean, that one? That one?
That one. The reason you don't like it is because William Dafoe was displaced as playing the character.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
speaking
William
of-
Dafoe was displaced.
Speaking of Willem Dafoe, you talked way back in the day about that Van Gogh movie.
I was just going to bring that up.
I was just going to say, I just watched that.
Did you?
It's on streaming, and that is quite a movie.
It really, I thought,
And
was
he
exceptional.
was amazing.
And I'm not
Yeah.
really, I don't know.
It's a very artsy-fartsy movie.
It
Yeah.
really artsy-fartsy.
Yeah.
And we went down, it was at a place in downtown Phoenix where my wife and I went and saw it. And it's in like this little corner of a building. I mean, it was a very austere sort of theater, but a bunch of very artsy-fartsy people showed up to
Yeah,
watch this.
yeah.
And I was, I'm sitting there waiting for the movie to start.
You mean sophisticates?
I had other terms for it myself. But anyway, as we were sitting waiting for this movie
Were they all
to look,
vegans?
I was probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But I was looking around the room like, oh my gosh, what have we walked into here? Is this?
It was amazing.
But it was an exceptional
Yeah.
movie,
And,
it really,
he really looked like the pictures of Van Gogh.
yeah.
Who is one of my favorite artists of all time. I mean,
And
it's
the tragic thing, and I didn't really I didn't know much about the life of Van Gogh. I didn't
Not a good one.
I didn't realize that he was never really celebrated during his lifetime,
Oh, no.
only until
No.
after his death.
Yeah, and it was his brother who sort of took care of him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's kind of a troubled puppy, but
Yeah.
of course you
Yeah.
could say that about people who cut their ears off and stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
that was just it was.
But Willem Dafoe is one of my favorite all-time
He did an
actors.
exceptional job. I mean, a very
He's-
believable job.
Yeah, he's just great. I'll watch almost anything he's in.
And that's another
Yeah.
person who's been in a whole bunch of movies.
Yeah. And he played John Clark in the spy in the Tom Clancy, in several Tom Clancy movies.
Right.
And in the new Tom Clancy movie, it's not him, it's somebody else.
Yeah, the one where he was heading up a team down in Colombia or
Yep.
something.
Yep.
That was he did a pretty believable job in that movie too. I like that.
And he's
I like the
also
Tom
one of
Clancy
my
flicks.
favorite movies, Willem Dafoe, in The Boondock Saints,
Yeah.
where he plays the gay FBI agent. And I tell you, he is just every scene he's in, you just don't want it to end. And there's this one scene where he's gay, and so he's kind of having a little canoodling with a member of the same sex, who's kind of all over him while he's trying to talk
I'm
on
not
the
sure
phone.
the word canoodling is really.
Well, that
yeah. Okay.
but it's so
Noodling.
noodling, that too.
Is that better for you?
Yeah.
You like that image?
Noodling, right, right. But I mean, it's the guy's sort of hugging him and everything, and he just he smacks him away, and he says, blanking faggot.
Oh wow.
And it's so funny because, I mean, he's gay, except that it's just, I don't know. I mean, this is so un-PC. I love it, of course. I love
And
anything
there's not much
un-PC.
out there that is un-PC
Really.
these days.
But the
that's for
Boondock
sure.
Saints is, and the second one is good too. But Willem Dafoe in the Boondock Saints is to die for. He's fabulous. He listens to opera.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
as a detective, he's an FBI guy.
Yeah.
And as a detective, he is of the caliber
Yes.
of,
Oh yeah, that guy.
yeah. Who's the greatest detective in the world?
Oh, Hercule Poirot.
Okay.
Agatha Christie, remember?
Oh okay.
Poirot. He's a little bit
And to focus,
Yeah.
he listens to
He
opera.
listens to opera
While
he's going through the
he's
crime
kind of
scene.
dances through the crime scene,
Right.
imagining how it.
And he
how it-
always gets it with
And-
the weird little factoids like, oh, is there an apartment above the one where all the carnage took place? And is there leaking, the pipes were leaking, and therefore we know what happened, and.
I was gonna say
the bad-
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, Sherlock Holmes, well, you're right. But, really, what, the bad guys get killed by a falling toilet.
Yeah, and he has to reconstruct all of
Right.
this.
Well, that'd be a crappy experience.
Oh,
wouldn't
Just
it's
in
so
his,
good.
in his own imagination.
Yeah.
And
And he does.
And he does, yeah.
And
No,
then it has the great Billy Connolly as well.
Yep.
But we're talking about the worst movies. This is not the worst movies.
No,
These
that's
are
a good movie.
These are wonderful movies, yeah.
Well,
It's hard to talk.
We've lost our focus.
Yeah.
Did we
How'd that
Did we
happen?
have one?
Liverwurst, right? Yeah.
Liverwurst?
Liverwurst movies, yeah.
I don't know. There's not too many that.
Elvira Madigan, that was pretty bad.
I don't think I've ever heard of that
Do
one.
you remember that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Oh, no, it was bad.
I remember when it came out, but
Yeah.
I
They almost made me hate Mozart, which is, takes a lot, because they use that concerto over and over again. Yeah.
Speaking of Mozart, Amadeus was a pretty darn interesting movie.
that was a good movie.
Yeah, that was.
I have mixed feelings about that. The Tom Hulse character really annoyed the heck out of me. All that little giggle stuff. I just was like, you know what? I'm not sure Mozart was like that. I wanted him to have more. He was a genius, and he was focused, and
Yeah.
He wasn't focused on real life, though.
Well, no, he couldn't be.
You're going to take on a classic composer who really had a bizarre life. They ought to do a more real depiction of Franz Liszt.
Oh, I know.
Franz Liszt. Now, there's some amazing stories about that.
He
guy's
was
life.
like the rock star of his time.
Well, most of
Yeah.
the composers back then were.
Well, they were.
They
I mean,
were.
Rachmaninoff was the same way. He
There-
was,
there was-
very.
There was another composer, I may have mentioned this before, I did to somebody, but there was another composer at the time who was up and coming, and Franz Liszt had gone off and was living with some witch somewhere,
Right.
and really was not out in public anymore, and this guy was touting himself as I'm the new Franz Liszt, and friends of Liszt would go and tell him, hey, this guy is saying that he's the
He's
new.
dissing you, man.
Yeah, and Liszt was like, who cares? And it kept going on and on. Finally, he agreed to a duel with this guy, where each one would prepare a piece of music for the other one to play on site, and the other guy gave Liszt music to play. Liszt played it. Then the other guy sat down and played flawlessly Liszt's piece, and Liszt got a little agitated, sat down at the piano, put both of the scores side by side, and improvisationally, just improvised back and forth between the two, bringing it all into the same key and all these other things. And apparently, whilst doing that, the other composer walked up behind Liszt, bowed, and walked out, and was never seen again. And it's like,
And we don't even remember what his name was.
I
but
guess.
Yeah.
But at least I
Really?
don't. But
Yeah.
But Liszt was like, the Jim Morrison of the day.
Oh,
Yeah, he
man,
was- he's
dude,
kinda out
he
there.
was- Yeah, that's a good analogy.
No restraints in
None.
his personal lifestyle.
No.
living with witches will do that to you. I guess
Yeah.
I can only imagine. But I would think that he would be a good one to go after. Beethoven, certainly there's been some work done
Well,
on his
Gary
life.
Oldman did
Yeah.
Beethoven.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he did. Yeah, Gary Oldman played Beethoven.
Well, that was probably a good movie.
I think so.
Can't you think of a bad one?
With Beethoven?
No, with anything.
Oh, it's hard. I
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
The bad ones I've tried to forget,
Yeah,
and
me too.
because I'm older, I can do that. Right? I'm like, the tabula rasa, man, blank slate here.
Sadly, we are out of time, but we could go on and on, I'm sure.
Yeah, I watched a Chilean zombie movie
Oh, God.
that was just awful. It didn't make any sense. It was just terrible movie. But I can't remember the name of it. Point taken.
There you go. Yeah. We are in our dotage.
I guess so.
Yes.
And that's all the time we have.
I'd like to be in
Thanks
my
for joining
cottage.
us. We'll be back here with you again next